Welcome back to work, my friends. Congressman Larry Bucshon, the old bloody eight, is the guest of the Garrison Show. And, of course, he was was on the line just long enough to be able to hear the end of Mr. Pence's remarks. And, Larry, thanks for being our guest. Good morning.
Hey, good to be on your show.
So tell me what you think.
Well, let me tell you, I'm not happy with what the final outcome was, but let me tell you this. With the president and the Senate Democrats intent on raising taxes, intent on not cutting spending, I think, honestly, this is the best we could do for the American people at this time, but this is the very first step in what I see as a long battle over probably over the next 3 or 4 years to get this fiscal house in order.
Well, there's a lot of disorder, and it'll take the rest of your public life before it gets fixed. The thing is so tough for a lot of our listeners to get their heads around, Congressman, is that all this stuff that we're talking about, it only means that we're not digging as fast.
That's exactly
It doesn't
right.
mean that we stop. Nobody has yet said, let's stop digging. I mean, some people have said it, but there's nothing extent. I guess, is it Connie Mack that's got this penny per dollar idea that's got a number of sponsors in the House? Now, that's an effort to stop digging.
Yeah, here's the thing. Without some of the things that we outlined in our budget in the House of Representatives, we're not going to get the spending under control. You're exactly right. What we've done is we've slowed down the spending, but we're still deficit spending as far as the eye can see. But the fact of the matter is unless we have an administration and a Senate that's willing to tackle broad tax reform that broadens the base and creates a tax system that will get people back to work by making our companies globally competitive, and unless we have an administration and a Senate that is willing to take on the tough problem of entitlement reform, we're not going to be able to get this job done. And that's why I see it as we just have to continue to push and get what we can from these folks at this point. And hopefully the American people will continue to back us, because I think we're the ones right now that potentially have the plan that can get this country back on track. But it's going to be a big fight.
Well, and it's like it's like the war against the terror masters. They never give up. They just come at it from a different direction.
Yeah, and it's very frustrating. I mean, I can hear the frustration in your voice, and I'm very frustrated myself, because honestly, they just see the future of this country differently than I do, and differently than other people like Congressman Pence do. We either take a pathway back to what America stands for, with private sector creating jobs, or we take a pathway of big government, and the American people will be completely dependent on their government for everything. And that's just not the right way to go. You can see what's happening in Europe. Those type of systems don't work well, and it's just not the America that you and I know.
Well, we're already there. The day of big government has arrived. It's been here, truth be told, for a couple of decades now.
Sure.
But it took off at warp speed when we elected this clueless wonder that now occupies the White House. Except that I'm not. There are times when I'm confident he has no idea what he's doing. But on matters of budget and capitalism, I'm confident he knows exactly what he's up to.
Well, I would agree with that. The premise that the President and the Senate Democrats and the House Democrats don't understand or just are confused about what's happening in our country, that's not true. They just have a completely different vision for how they see this country. Their vision is even bigger government, even broader control of everything we do in our lives, less personal freedoms. And they are true believers in that, and they think that that's the best way for America going forward. I just very much disagree with them. I think that's not what America was founded on. I think we need to continue to fight against that. And the only way that we're really going to get this turned around back into a conservative direction is for conservatives to stick with us And even though we're going to lose some fights, we're not going to quite get what everybody wants all the time. Conservatives to stick with us so that we can defeat this president.
Yeah, and that piece, Congressman, is the defeat part is going to make this next election cycle a hell of a fight.
It is. I mean, and the president's. I was looking on, reading this morning in the news. The president's going to have a lot of money in the bank. He's got a lot of supporters out there that have a vision for this country like he does, and it's going to be a tough fight. I think again. What we need to do as conservatives is we all need to stick together and realize that we're not right now. We only control the House of Representatives. We can't force the Senate. We can't force the president.
Right. And I think that we've all seen that and tried to make that logic clear. Congressman, keep up the fight, my friend. It's a start. May not even be a big start, but it's a start. God bless. We are back in mere moments after the news, which is next. Michael Ledeen next. Stick around.